Hi guys! So, I've wanted to do this experiment for a little while now, where I just wanted to figure out different ways to create lacing in ocean resin pours. So, as you can see, I'm painting up, these are 6x12 just cut off boards that I had extra. So I just painted a nice gradient on them to start with some acrylic paint, and just quickly went over each of them, made sure to get the gradient nice and even. That way, I have 4 of them, so I'm going to try 4 different ways to see which one would work best for creating resin lacing. 4 different techniques, just to test them out. Okay, so here we have one board. And the 4 different ways I was thinking to test out the lacing in resin is I got some Castin Craft opaque pigment, which it says it gives you good lacing. I was going to try just some Resin Tint ink. I'm also going to try some acrylic paint in the white. And then I was going to try some Resin Tint with a little bit of alcohol ink. So we'll try the 4 different techniques and see which one works best. I've mixed up some resin, and I kind of mixed up a little bit of dark blue, some light blue. I might need more of this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the dark. So for the first layer, I'm going to do the dark resin blue going into the light resin blue, and then we'll do the white with some clear on the end. And I have my heat gun. Okay, so I have my heat gun, and that's what I will use to manipulate the white. So to start, we just want to put the nice clear colorful layers. Now this one I had added maybe a little bit too much black, but that's okay. I'm just going to put a little bit on the end. And I'm going to have to do the same for each one of these, is add the dark color at the back, because I have 4 wooden canvases. And then I'm going to have to test out the white. So this is just going to be a thin layer of the blue. Over this wooden canvas. Now, wooden canvases are great for if you want to do resin. I might do a couple layers of the white, so I'm just lightly, as you can see, there's not very much resin on here, blending that in a bit. Okay, and then, so I'm going to grab another cup just to mix up a little bit of white. So the first one I'm going to try is just some Resin Tint. So I don't want to mix up too much. So just have a little bit in here. And I just have some white Resin Tint. So I'm going to try this one first. Just mix up a little bit of white. Just like that. So this first test is just with the Resin Tint white. It's just a white ink. And I actually might even cut half the cup off, just so I don't have to go too far. There. Just like that. So I'm going to add some clear resin to the top part to fill this part in. Because this is what we'll be blowing around with the heat gun. Now you can see that by painting the behind part, I got some nice blue already with the acrylic paint. Alright, so I'm going to just pour a little bit of white at the top, a little bit of white further down. There. You don't need too much. Okay, let's give this a whirl. It's going to get a little loud, so I'm going to move it around with the heat gun. Alright, so we got a little bit of lacing right here, not too much. It gives more of a cloudy effect with the alcohol ink, or sorry, not alcohol ink, just the resin tint ink for resin. So that one's not too bad. We did get a tiny bit, so I'm going to leave that one. And just move that one out of the way, and then we're going to try a different one. So here I have another panel. Just make sure you guys can see. There we go. So this one again, I'm going to put a little bit of dark at the end. Alright, so I got a good coating there. And I'm actually going to grab my torch, just because I have a lot of bubbles happening. Alright, so I still have the resin mixed with a little bit of white ink, but this time what I'm going to do is probably use some isopropyl. I'm going to use this isopropyl alcohol. I don't know if I should spritz it on or mix a little in, so what I'm going to do is I might put just a little bit into the cup, and we're just going to see if this does anything. So I just put a little bit of the isopropyl, like a drop or two, into the cup with the resin and with the white alcohol ink. Just going to see if that will make a difference for some lacing. I'm going to try and use up the rest of this here. There we go. Oh, I see a few bubbles happening. So now I'm just going to blow it around with my heat gun. Alright, so we got a little bit of more lacing. So that was mixing some isopropyl alcohol in with the white ink. And it's looking pretty good. I didn't have quite as much white as on the other one, but there's a little bit of lacing happening. So I guess see how that one dries. See if we get any more happening on there. So that one was the second one. So I'm going to move this. Alright, so here is the third one. I'm going to add a little bit of dark to the bottom. Like I said, these are just experiments. I just had some extra cut off wood, so I thought I would see what would give the best lacing effect if you were going to do your own ocean pour with resin. So I might have to mix up a bit more blue for the last one, but that's okay. Alright, so this one I'm going to have to mix up a little bit of resin. And I'm going to try the Castin Craft. For the third experiment. So it does say it gives good lacing. So we're going to try it out. Now this stuff is fairly toxic, just so you know. I didn't realize how much stuff was in it. They say to add a drop at a time until desired color, and to watch out for the harmful odor and everything. So I'm just going to add a few drops. This is a pigment. Oh, it's super thick. So I'm going to add a few drops, guys, of this stuff, and then mix it in. See what kind of a white we get. That's pretty good white. So I wasn't too sure if this stuff was just acrylic paint or if it was actually a mixture of things, and it's actually a mixture of a whole bunch of stuff. So let's see how this goes for the lacing with this one. So this is Castin Craft. Okay, we did get some good lacing back here. Not so much at the front. It does move around a little bit differently than just with the alcohol, or just with the regular resin ink. It seems to be a little bit thicker. I think I might have to move it around a bit more. We did get a bit here, but not so much at the front. And finally, guys, this one is where I just used a dollop of white acrylic paint, the Artist Law Flow Acrylic White, and I just put like a good drop of it into the resin, mixed it in, and then did the same technique as the other three where I used it in the white, so blew it around with the heat gun, and this is a result of just using acrylic paint that mixed into the resin. Now you don't want to mix too much acrylic paint in with the resin. You just want a small amount so that it can tint the resin. And it actually worked pretty good. I'm gonna let all four of these dry. We'll take a look and see which ones work the best for getting some lacing for your ocean pours. Okay, so these are dry, And as you can see, very different results when they dry out. So here is just a photograph, guys, with a little less glare than the video, so you can see the final results. Starting on the left, we have the resin, where I just mixed in some white resin tint ink into it. And you can see it totally dissipated into the rest of the resin, the clear, and pretty much disappeared. So didn't really get a great result from just mixing in resin tint ink. Same with the second one, which also was resin tint white, but I added some isopropyl alcohol and mixed it in to try and get some lacing. There was a little bit of lacing, but it totally disappeared as well. Never really kept its white color. So that I would stay away from resin tint or any kind of ink for trying to get lacing for your ocean waves with resin. Now, the two that did work the greatest or the best is the Casting Craft, which is the third one. And that one gave really good lacing. It kept its structure. It's really pretty white. You can see the waves. It worked out really good. And also the fourth one and the last one, which was just white acrylic paint mixed in with the resin to give the same effect as the Casting Craft. So the Casting Craft and just white acrylic paint worked really good. So I suggest if you didn't want to invest in the Casting Craft or you didn't want the toxicity of it, you could just use white acrylic paint because it did hold up really good to get you nice lacing and keep its structure, whereas the resin tint inks did not work so great and actually dissipated into the rest. So I thought I'd do this cool little experiment, you guys, so you could, kind of figure out what you want to do to create your own lacing, and you wouldn't have to go through experimenting with everything. There are a lot of different white pigments out there that a lot of people offer that I'm sure work really good as well. So the Casting Craft is a white pigment. It does have a lot of additives. It is toxic. It has harmful fumes and stuff, so just an FYI on that. But you can use acrylic paint and just mix it in with the resin, and it worked really good too. So I hope that helps everybody, and I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody for subscribing, watching, liking my channel, commenting. I greatly appreciate it. And also thank you so much for using my Amazon links. I get a small commission. There's no extra cost to you, so I greatly appreciate it when you guys do that if you ever want to get anything off of Amazon. So thank you so much, guys. I hope you have fun creating your own ocean waves with resin. And have fun creating, guys. Thanks.